Hello and welcome everyone to Women Speakers Association's WSA TV Premier Women Show, where we have women of influence, impact, and here to inspire you about how to get unstuck in your life. If you're wondering how to create a breakthrough from a place of maybe no hope or feeling like it's impossible or you've tried everything, these women will get you unstuck. So let's go say hi to them. Hi, Anita.
Hi, Laura. Hello, everybody. My name is Anita Russell. I am from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I am a life coach. I am a speaker. I am a change cultivator, and I am an international best-selling author. And I'm so happy to be here, and I'm looking forward to spending some time with you.
We're glad to have you. Thank you for being here, Anita. And let's say hi to Sandy. Hi, Sandy.
Hi, Laura. Hi, everyone. I'm Sandy Horton. I'm here in Vancouver, British Columbia. I am an author. I am a speaker. I'm a leadership development and engagement consultant. And you can find a little bit more about me at sandrajhorton.com. Thank you so much, Laura.
Beautiful. Thank you, Sandy. And hi, Carrie.
Hi, I'm Kerri Cohan, and I am an international best-selling author of The 5 Lessons of Life. I'm a soul coach and a psychic, and I'm also a Métis mother of 2. You can find me at kerricohan.com.
Wonderful. So glad to have all of you here. Oh my gosh, I am so excited after reading your stories and your websites and learning about your expertise. I know we're in good hands to help us get unstuck, especially when we feel like we're in a breakdown mode or our power, we're not feeling as fully in our power. So I wanted to go and ask each of you to give our listeners and viewers advice on how to get unstuck and create and cause that breakthrough in personal power. Anita, I was hoping you could address us first with that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I did in setting up my whole entire coaching practice and the strategies and everything that I wanted to use is that I sort of developed this concept that I call on par. And what PAR, P-A-R, stands for is personal accountability and responsibility. And for me, the approach that I take with my coaching is helping people to understand that they can own everything in their life. And when it comes to them managing their gift of life, the central question is, are you holding yourself personally accountable and responsible? And I'm not talking about sort of those external things that you have absolutely no control over, but those things that you do have control over. And how do you go about examining yourself? And one of the things that I came up in alignment with that on par is the 6 keys to nurture, grow, and empower your life. There's 6 incredible keys. The first one is know yourself, nurture your life, integrate your life, connect with others, live intentionally, and seize opportunity. And all of those things together are sort of wrapped up in the overall concept of personal accountability and responsibility.
Yes, they are. And, people don't think about that as often as they could, right? About taking that personal accountability and responsibility. And where could someone start to do that?
Well, out of all of the ones that I just listed, I believe the number 1 key is know yourself. And one of the things, again, that I do as a life coach, the approach I take is having people draw inward to kind of forget about all of that external stuff out there and take a look at what are those things inside of me. So, for example, I may have a conversation with someone around their self-image. It's really important how you see yourself. And there's 3 ways you can see yourself. Your perception, when you look in the mirror, that's one way of how you see yourself. Another way is what your public image looks like. And that's kind of the way other people see you, because oftentimes other people see you one way and you can see yourself in a completely different way. But then the one that's most important is that that core sense of who you are, that core sense of how you define your image. So I kind of help people to kind of take that holistic approach to looking at themselves from multiple perspectives.
Oh, beautiful. I love that advice to look at it and then to think about aligning all of
Mm.
them as well. So I wanted to move over to Sandy and get your take on
Mhm,
how can people get unstuck? And I know we're going to weave that through today's
mhm.
show, but when they're in a place and they're feeling like they need a breakthrough or they want to access their power, what do you recommend?
Well, I want to say, Anita, I think we're very much aligned in our outlook, because my ethos for myself, how I overcame being stuck in my life,
Mm.
is change your perspective, change your life. And importantly is to really own and understand our own stories. And like Anita, I actually have and deploy 8 key emotional intelligence tactics or strategies for myself to get myself into action. There's a lot of talk about what you can do, but what can I actually do day to day? What are some things that I can get information, like Anita was
Mm.
saying, about self and others? So I really do recommend looking at these 8 things. So first of all is be open to yourself in exploration and manage from the heart. The power of perspective, which we've already talked about. Acknowledge your quiet leader, lead the way forward, live with a sense of gratitude, learn daily, and
Mm.
give back. These are all essential things that will help you begin that process of moving forward. And sometimes it's not easy, but it can be done. And it gives you great sense of power when you do start that work.
So say more about that last one, giving back. Why do you include that in there?
So to me, when I was living in a place where I felt I didn't have power, the moment I started to give to others, that just shifted for me, because I had an awakening that the more I give, the more I actually get back myself. And so it was very profound. And I say that to everyone: if you're feeling stuck, go out, go to a nonprofit, give back, volunteer your time, because it's just that beautiful openness and that gift to yourself that just liberates you and it gets you moving forward.
Yeah, so we nurture ourselves, we take that introspective look, we take our
Mhm.
power on, we give back, you are definitely aligned, the first two of you, and I'm sure
Mhm.
Carrie, you are too. So let's go over to Carrie and share with us a little bit about how to get unstuck in your life.
How to get unstuck. I was very stuck many years ago, and I died twice. And so I had a very profound experience. And what I learned was to love thyself, love thyself, love thyself. Really, that's what it all boils down to, is all about love. And the 5 lessons that were given to me when I was on the other side, I think that was a profound, piece of wisdom. And basically, that is everything comes down to every experience that you have, everything that you do in this world, every interaction that you have with other people. It all boils down to these 5 lessons, and you ask them of yourself or you ask them of the other. So, if, for instance, you have a dispute with someone, someone has hurt you, you go back and you ask yourself these 5 questions. Do I forgive them? Do I have compassion for them? Do I have faith and trust that we're on the right path? And do I unconditionally love them and have gratitude that this is happening in my world? If any of those answers are no, then you have to go back and work on it, right? And I don't like using the word work on it, because that's like, oh, work on it, right? But just simply come to a place of asking yourself a better question. How can I love them? How can I forgive them? How can I have faith and trust that we're on the right path? And how can I unconditionally have gratitude for them? And then it also comes back to yourself. So you ask that of the other, but you also ask that of yourself. In this situation, do I unconditionally love myself? Do I have faith and trust? Do I feel like I'm on the right path? And when you can say yes to all of that, you are definitely unstuck and on a whole new path for yourself.
Talk to me a little bit more about having faith and trust on the right path. How does someone identify that?
Yeah. Okay. So faith and trust, it really is inside. Faith. Okay. What was my note on trust? Let me go back, because it's really quite profound. I'm going to go to my notes, because oh my goodness, I had something really profound on that. I'm just going to go with my gut. yeah, when you have faith, you know, you are walking in the right path. It is connecting with your spirit, is connecting with everything around you. And through the faith, you have trust that you're on the right path. You know, I really think that it's essential for you to be able to move forward. And I don't know, it's just part of all of this that was downloaded with me. And when I work with clients, you know, I look at their timelines, and through letting go of past pain and you know, mishaps or whatever it may be, we're able to move forward and go through with faith and trust.
And I love how you just modeled going through this with faith and trust. You wanted to say a point, and now you said, you know what, I'm just going to go with my gut. And this is what we have to do in life, and let it go. We're not a failure.
Yeah.
We're fully in our full expression in every single moment. And you know, the three of you have just such wisdom. I mean, we went through that maybe in 5 minutes, but if you go back and watch that, what we just went through, you have a whole pathway to getting unstuck. And you may have covered some of these areas in your life, and you may need some support. And Anita, Kerri, Sandy, you are the guides here. So I want to learn a little bit more about your expertise and who do you work with? What do you do with them? So Anita, why don't you share?
Yes, so one of the things that I will often start off with a brand new client or someone who is sort of going through a consultation just to kind of get a sense if coaching is really where they want to go, is talking about the difference between cultivating change and managing change. In my introduction, I mentioned that I consider myself to be a change cultivator. And there's a difference between managing change and cultivating change, in the sense that managing change is often reactive, meaning that something happened and you have to respond in some particular way. And oftentimes that way that you have to respond means that something about you perhaps has to change. But a lot of times it's something outside of yourself that has changed. Like if you think about changes in your work environment, or when you have a major change in your life, like a death of a loved one or something along those lines. So those types of things, you have to figure out how I'm going to manage change to kind of get beyond the spot that I've now perhaps found myself stuck in. And so strikingly different from that is cultivating change. Cultivating change is much more proactive. So when you think about most people have a sense of who it is they aspire to be. And so what I help them to do is become who they aspire to be by examining who they are. And oftentimes what happens in that kind of situation is that examining themselves, they discover something about themselves that they do in fact want to change. So in that regard, they're being very proactive. I see this thing, this is where I want to be. And in between this thing and where I want to be, there's some change that I need to cultivate. And so that's one of the primary initial steps that I will take when I start talking with somebody about, especially if it's somebody who has never done life coaching before and they're trying to figure out exactly what it is and how it can benefit them. And so I have that initial conversation with them about the difference between managing change and cultivating change.
So do you have an example, a story of how you worked with a client in that way?
I do, actually. I have a client who came to me and was very burdened with things from her past. And these were things from her past that were deeply traumatic, emotionally, physically, and all of that. And she found herself in a lot of ways just kind of stuck. Like we're talking about getting unstuck. So she found herself literally having been stuck, not just for a short period of time or a couple of years, but for decades. She was stuck. And she had all of these things in her past that she had never shared with anybody. And I've only known her I've known her for about the past year or so. And she came to me and basically said, Anita, I would like you to I would like to have a coaching session with you, because I have some things within me that have been burdening me, weighing me down, and I need to talk about it. So just me, our whole entire coaching session was just me listening to her talking, while she brought up all of this stuff that she had buried within herself. Though it was buried, it was still very much operating in her life in terms of keeping her in this place over here when she wanted to be over there. And the result of that, she kind of gave me some feedback, and she literally said, I actually feel lighter now. I feel so much better now because I'm not carrying that boulder around inside of me anymore. So that was very gratifying, as you can imagine.
That's great. And lightening up is so important to this breakthrough and getting unstuck. You definitely unstuck her with, letting her boulder go. That's great. I made up a new word there. Sorry. All right. So Sandy, I want to hear a little bit more about you. Who do you work with and what do you do with them?
Thank you. Anita, I just want to say I'm also in alignment with what you were just quickly saying about the whole awakening. I am a survivor of childhood sexual assault that I had suppressed for most of my adult life. And by that awakening, I was able to step into my own power and position to say, what is my own story? And so that's really motivated me and inspired me to be the leadership development engagement consultant that I am today. So what I do and who I work with are women leaders, professional women. They really are attracted to the work that I'm doing. I use emotional intelligence. I'm a certified practitioner. I find that emotional intelligence for business women and women leaders is a great tool to start to explore self, look at your impact on others, to look at your relationships, especially around self-awareness. For myself, I led a very successful life, but outside, extremely focused, not inside out, until I had that awakening. So for me, it's when a woman has that aha moment, and the EQI assessment tool is a great tool to facilitate that. We start unpacking some of those areas, and then we set tactics and strategies, like I talked about before, to hold people accountable, to check in with others and look at their impacts. And it does help you move forward. It's one step at a time, but it's seeking feedback from self and from others, and we're able to unstick ourselves. So that's what I use, and that's been very successful for individuals, teams, and organizations as well.
That's great that you have the power tool in your tool belt for women in particular. And is there a story you want to share either more about your journey or how you help someone?
Sure. I always come from a heart-centered space, and I was really overwhelmed and so appreciative of someone who shared with me, because I work with amazing people every day, but this person really touched my heart because they came to me after we actually launched our book for Voices of the 21st Century, and I'm launching another one as a co-author as well in a couple weeks. But this individual really touched me because what she heard from me sharing and having the courage to show up and step up was, wow, is that story me? Is that maybe what's happened to me and I don't know? I may be repeating patterns, victimization, self-sabotaging, codependency. And she's like, wow, I need to start to look at that. So for me, that really touched me, that I'm being that power, that inspiring person to say, okay, we can all take little steps to unstick ourselves and share our story.
And your story matters. Everyone out there, your story matters, just like Sandy's. That's Sandy's message, and I love that about you, Sandy. And that's why I know Anita and Kerri, you also have shared your stories. Kerri, share with us a little bit about how you work with people and what you do for them, given your experience.
So my story is very similar to Sandy's. It started off being molested when I was 3 years old. And that was the catalyst when we had a 3-time convicted pedophile enter our house one day and tried to kidnap my oldest daughter. So I became a national child advocate. I amended 14 laws in Canada. And I also got PTSD from all of that, from 17 years of changing all these laws. So through that, I started to seek a different way. Instead of being the proactive activist, I decided to start to work with all the people that were coming to me with these horrific stories, because they just needed help that I was able to give in a unique way. And it was all spirit driven and given. Through my near-death experience, I was able to hear and see and feel things. So I have a lot of people that come to me, 10,000 clients now I've worked with. And I do a lot of timeline analysis. We go back in their timeline, we heal whatever it is that is pertinent in who they are today, that they're carrying, that is painful, that they need to let go of. And we're able to help them move forward. I work with spirit. I work with people of all, walks of life. I work with celebrities. I've worked with military personnel, a lot of social workers, and lawyers, first responders, everyone. And I work, as I said, I live in Portugal now and the UK, although I'm in Vancouver right now with a book launch. So I can work anywhere in the world, thankfully, to Zoom and Skype and everything else.
And is there a little bit more of your story you want to share about how you help people?
Sure. For instance, I work with a lot of suicidal people, either people that are thinking about suicide or those that have had family and friends that have left prematurely. And, for instance, I had one young gentleman. He was so handsome. He was such a good soul, such a beautiful soul. And he had seen a post that I had put on Facebook. He contacted me. And in, a 45-minute session and a quick phone call, he actually turned his life around. He realized, I speak of it greatly in the book because I was shown very clearly what happens to a suicidal soul, and that, once you find that out, you cannot take that route again. I can't think of doing that route. So I shared that with him, and it turned his life around. By the end of 45 minutes, he was a new kid. And he ended up going back to university. He got his master's, and the list went on. And he became that beautiful young man that everyone absolutely loves because he loves himself.
So amazing, the work that all of you are doing, helping people turn their lives around, getting unstuck, and really creating the breakthroughs that are right there. They're right there for all of us, right? And you three can see them. You can, and you help your clients and the people who come your way and the people who read your stories, like, oh my gosh, there it is. And I think that's really the magic and the power of today's show, is like your breakthrough is right there. It might be right here. You just can't see it. And one of the things I love about Women Speakers Association is that we bring women, powerful women together who are sharing a message and making a difference in the world. And so I wanted to hear from each of you as kind of our final question today. What is the difference that Women Speakers Association has made for you personally and professionally? Anita, why don't you share?
Yeah, to answer that question, I'm going to start by just saying, when I look at the other two ladies that are on this, Sandy and Carrie, it's amazing to me the commonalities that are there. We may be coming from different directions, but our goal is essentially the same. And that goal is to help people and to help people to get to a better place in their own personal lives. And if they can get in a better place in their own personal lives, you can sort of get to that place where I talk about living an integrated life. You're living a holistic life. And so I just wanted to thank the two of them for just expressing the way that they have. And that essentially is the answer to your question. Without Women Speakers Associates, I would not have had the opportunity to meet individuals like this. I mean, I meet people on a regular basis, but I mean, I'm meeting individuals who are part of WSA from all over the world. And it's really interesting when you see people from different places in the world, but all coming from a different direction to do the same thing. And I'm very, very thankful to Women Speakers Association that I'm a part of this. And I just want to continue. I love the most recent book that we did. I'm actually going to show it in case somebody out there hasn't seen it yet. Voices of the 21st Century. And I am so blessed to be one of those voices and to be able to just say that there is alignment between me, little old Anita Russell, way over here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, with this lovely person, these two lovely ladies, and the other women behind the book itself, the other women behind the organization itself. So I am just enthralled, and I'm just so blessed and thankful to be a part of this organization.
Well, we're blessed and thankful to have you a part of the organization because your voice makes a difference, and you're getting it out there. And that's what we want to do, is help everyone who has a message to get it out there. And not only that, but Anita, like you said, you have a whole network of people, like-minded women who are doing this. You have a network you can refer to and also lean on as well. So I also want to hear from Sandy next as to what is the difference Women Speakers Association is making for you?
I truly, from my heart, echo what Anita was saying, because it is an amazing group. Because I can speak for myself, we're so connected with so many different things in our lives. But this is really a unique association that will give you the power to move forward. And the power comes in different ways. It's through connection, it's through collaborations, it's the accountability piece, I think, too, which is amazing. So I'm also stepping forward with a great next step for Voices of the 21st Century, which is taking a book and making it part of my business. And that's really about accountability. And as a solopreneur, it's really important that I surround myself with great, amazing women. And I just feel so inspired. I can't express enough the beautiful blessing that this has been. But for those people who are in business and professional women, and you think, you may have all the best connections, but this is a unique connection. Everyone has an amazing story, a journey. They can share it, they can inspire others. And this is the best platform to do it. And you just guide us, Laura and Gail Watson, who started this, all the great, support. If you get into the book, it's amazing. I just really genuinely feel so blessed, and I just want to continue to have the connections with all these amazing women, because it's just so beautiful.
And you are connected to them. We have the online platforms, and like Sandy, you're highlighting, is we have the publishing arm, WSA Publishing, and we do an annual book, The Voices of the 21st Century, which becomes, like you're showing there, right? Great. Becomes a community, it's really a community event and experience. We create an experience. This is not an anthology. This is a community experience that results in a book. Okay, so just let's get that out of the way. And we've got our applications for the 2020 book right now at voicesofthe21stcentury.com. You can certainly go check that out. And I know Sandy and Anita and Carrie, you're all international best-selling authors, and that's what we help people become at WSA Publishing. And Carrie, I'd love to hear from you, your experience, and what is the difference that Women Speakers Association is making for you? And you're on mute, just so you know.
I thought I unmuted it. Okay, so WSA, I actually was a member quite some time ago, and then I left for a period of time, and I returned. And since returning, it has been absolutely profound. Not only have we made such great network with Sandy and Anita and so many other women, but for instance, the education. I think there's great education with WSA. Charmaine Hammond, she has been a long friend. We were really close friends, but I had no clue that she was doing some of the courses that she was doing. And through WSA, I was able to discover that she was doing a book as a business course. I joined it. There was all kinds of promotional material because of membership, a premium membership with WSA. And through there, I am now in Vancouver from Portugal because I'm doing a book launch. I got picked up by Chapters, Indigo, Coles Books, all the major bookstores in Canada. Costco is now in negotiation with us. So it's all because of starting with WSA. So I highly recommend it. If you have a book especially, and you're wanting to know how to promote it and how to share it and how to learn from other women, especially that have done this, this is the place to be.
Yeah, and the gifts keep on coming. I'm going to get to that after we get off. I have gifts for each one of you, our Premier members. And if you want to learn how to become a Premier member, join us at joinwsa.com. Again, that's joinwsa.com. Thank you so much, ladies. We'll be back next week with another awesome episode of the Premier Women Show. Take care for now. Bye.
Bye. Thank
Thanks
you.
so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.